Morality, one of the most widely discussed topics in society today. There's a great deal of research that has been done to try to understand where exactly does it come from. Is it absolute or is it relative? Is it innate or is it a product of society? Interestingly though, when it comes to morality and religion, there's an ongoing debate as to whether religion is a source of morality. But what I'm interested in looking at is taking an in-depth look at where religion and morality meet, where they intersect. And as I began to examine morality through the eyes of religion, I found something very interesting that I feel society can benefit from. I'm going to call this Morality 2.0. And to define Morality 2.0, it is a set of moral values, a moral code if you will, that is extracted from religion but would be applicable to the common man regardless of his beliefs, that when lived by, open the door to building better character and living in harmony with your fellow man. Morality 2.0 sets the bar higher. And I'll show you a couple examples that hopefully will shed enough light on the subject and challenge you, the audience, to try it out yourselves. But before we dive deeper, I just want to take a step back and ask the question, what is morality? Webster's dictionary defines morality as conformity to ideals of right human conduct. The key word here is right human conduct. And right human conduct ultimately leads to building character. And isn't that one of the things that society, education, and religion strive for? To build men and women of character? Now, if morality builds character, this raises a very interesting question with potentially a very interesting answer. What type of character is built by a religious moral code? Now, while the answers are going to vary, let's look at the documented moral code that goes beyond the practitioners, because they might not be an accurate representation. Gandhi also saw this. He once said to a Christian preacher, "I like your Christ, I don't like your Christians. Your Christians are so unlike your Christ." So then, let's examine, what was the moral code of Christ that Gandhi looked up to very much? The bulk of Christ's teachings on moral issues can be found in his Sermon on the Mount, one of the most famous passages in Scripture in the Bible. This is found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapters 5 to 7. And we'll only look at what's relevant to society, but I would also encourage you to read the whole thing and maybe make your own moral extractions from it as well. I'm going to look at three things: adultery, the second mile, and loving your enemies. Three things that were mentioned. In adultery, Matthew 5:28, Jesus says, "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." By raising the moral standard of adultery from committing the act to not even a lustful look, promotes a higher value of respect for the other gender. And I'm sure that the ladies in the audience today would love to see the gentlemen in their lives live according to that standard, am I right? The second mile, Matthew 6:4, "If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. By going the extra mile in helping out a friend, a family member, or even a stranger, promotes a generous and kind attitude towards people around you that ask for help. Where would our society be today if everyone thought, how can I go the extra mile in helping out? Loving enemies, Matthew 5:44, "Love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you." Right off the bat, this may seem foolish and absurd, but if you give it a second thought, you'll see that loving your enemies is not about being tolerant or indifferent of them, but instead it's about having a positive attitude towards them and wishing them well. Think of how many people you could win over as friends if you lived out this attitude. It's definitely not easy, but one that would benefit society if we lived and strived according to it. So in conclusion, I hope that this shed enough light on the issue and will get you to rethink the moral standards that religion has to offer, and to see, as Gandhi saw, who is the Christ rather than who are the Christians. And then you'll find something deeper that can aid you in your journey through life as a person striving to conform to right human conduct. Thank you.